Perhaps the biggest news that hit our screens recently is HBO's recent series, a spin-off to the all-time favorite Game of Thrones, The House of Dragon. And episode 2 has just aired, and we can't help but talk about that ending. In the final scene of House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 2, marriage and war are generating problems for King Viserys, further dividing the Targaryens. The internal conflict with House Targaryens are still being set up in the House of Dragon Episode 2, which weakens the dragon riding family. The foundations of the upcoming Dance of the Dragons are being laid as Daemon intensifies his rivalry with Otto Hightower. King Viserys once more rejects the Valyrians, and Rhaenyra learns whom her father will wed. Want us to say more? Then this is your lucky day. If you're still pondering upon that recent episode, here's the House of Dragon Season 1 Episode 2 ending explanation. But of course, before any of that, make sure to first hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell for more updates. And watch out for many spoilers ahead. Now, let's dive in. 6 months after Queen Aemma's demise, King Viserys I Targaryen is advised to select a new wife. Viserys rejects Corlys and Rhaenys' marriage proposal since Laena is under 12. Rhaenyra Targaryen is still mourning her mother and worries about becoming her father's heir if he remarries. Rhaenys warns Rhaenyra that the men of the kingdom won't let her rule on the Iron Throne if her father produces a son. Prince Daemon, who has claimed Dragonstone for himself, tries to steal a dragon's egg, but Rhaenyra stops him, which enrages Lord Otto Hightower because it demonstrates the 15-year-old princess's better techniques. King Viserys decides to marry Alicent Hightower. By episode's end, Rhaenyra storms out of the council in anger, while Corlys Velaryon leaves for Driftmark and joins Daemon. Daemon and Corlys prepare to make war against Crabfeeder, isolating Rhaenyra in King's Landing. House of the Dragon Season 1, Episode 2 foreshadows major conflicts in the next episode. Here are some explanations to the episode's ending. Why King Viserys marries Alicent Hightower. After much consideration, King Viserys chooses to wed Alicent Hightower, the closest friend of Rhaenyra, against the advice of his small council. For the 6 months following the death of Queen Aemma Arryn, Alicent was secretly sent to King Viserys' room at the encouragement of the Hand of the King. With sessions like these being kept especially hidden from Rhaenyra, it was evident from these passages in the House of the Dragon Episode 2 that Viserys and Alicent got along well, with Viserys particularly appreciating her company and generosity. Viserys seemed to have feelings for Alicent beyond basic friendliness after she went above and beyond to mend one of his broken dragon models. Alicent was the obvious choice for the king among those who were suggested because she was of a more suitable marriageable age than Laena, could bear numerous children, understood the significance of the realm's histories, was the daughter of the Hand, and was easy to get along with. Why Rhaenyra is so upset by Viserys and Alicent's marriage? Rhaenyra Targaryen, a young woman from the House of the Dragon, is terribly hurt by the news that her father would wed again just 6 months after losing her mother. She also feels betrayed by the fact that his new spouse will be her best friend. When Rhaenyra confided in Alicent her worries that Viserys' upcoming marriage would result in children who would challenge her authority as Princess of Dragonstone, Alicent reassured her that Viserys loved her and that she need not worry. Alicent omitted to mention that Viserys had been meeting with her in secret for months at her father's request in order to set her up as a potential match for the king. It seemed treacherous that Alicent had been hiding her meetings and Otto's plan for her to marry King Viserys all along, whether on orders from her father or not, as Rhaenyra admitted to her insecurities about her father being distant and fearing a replacement of her mother in House of Dragon Episode 2, Rhaenyra would probably never have loved her father's new wife, but the fact that she is her best friend and closest confidant makes it much worse. The offspring of Alicent's best friend will be the ones who endangered Rhaenyra's position as Viserys' successor to the Iron Throne, because Alicent will be expected to bear Viserys more children. In House of the Dragon Episode 3, Rhaenyra's anger is likely to persist because she believes Alicent has been lying to her. She may also believe that Alicent wasn't sincere when she expressed sympathy for Rhaenyra's suffering if she had been planning to marry Viserys the entire time. Even though Alicent was constrained to do this after her father's urging, the independent Rhaenyra would still have resented at both her father for wedlocking her best friend and Alicent for wedlocking Viserys in the House of the Dragon. Daemon and Corlys' plan. What House of the Dragon set up? Politically, it makes more sense for Viserys to choose House Velaryon, but in the end, he goes with his heart and picks House Hightower. Both immediate and long-term repercussions will result from this. Corlys reacts poorly to the news, as seen in the House of the Dragon Episode 2's climactic sequence. In order to arrange a new alliance, he immediately meets with Viserys' egotistical brother Daemon Targaryen. After storming out of King's Landing to protect his shipping lines, Corlys asks Daemon for assistance. But things probably won't stop there. In the novel The Princess and the Queen, from which House of the Dragon is being adapted, Corlys and Daemon go on a victorious combat campaign to retake the relevant region. Corlys eventually succeeds in connecting his family to Targaryen power as well. Unfortunately, as we are all aware, the Targaryens ultimately have bad luck. Again, that can be linked to Viserys' choice in Episode 2. Daemon is persuaded to join Corlys after he describes him as a second son of the realm, a guy whose influence in the world is something that must be earned independently. Daemon accepts Corlys' offer in the House of the Dragon Episode 2 conclusion after giving up control of Dragonstone and realizing Viserys will never reconsider designating him as the heir to the dangerous Iron Throne in the hopes that it will provide a path to respect and glory away from the Iron Throne. The conflict in the Stepstones have left House Velaryon's money and influence, which Corlys has already attained, extremely insecure. As a result, Corlys will take matter into his own hands. The two men form a strong alliance in the House of the Dragon Season 1 Episode 2, which unites the House Old Valyria. Although not in the way Corlys had initially intended, when combined with Corlys Velaryon's skillful seafaring, vast fleet, and money, Daemon's command of the Gold Cloaks, proximity to the Iron Throne as a Targaryen, and his dragon Syraxes make them a nearly invincible force against the Triarchy and their leader, the Crab Feeder, in order to weaken the shipping routes and the realm as a whole. The Free Cities have united in the Stepstones, and Daemon and Corlys' plan calls for them to assemble their armies and resource from Driftmark. Who is Kragas Drahar, aka the creepy guy feeding people to crabs? Kragas Drahar was the Myrish Prince Admiral during the reign of King Viserys I. According to George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, if none of that matters to you, Myr is one of the three free cities that made up the system that was referred to as the Triarchy at the time. Liz and Tyrosh were the other two. They are essentially southeast of King's Landing, around a region of sandbars and tiny islands called the Stepstones, as shown on HBO's official interactive House of the Dragon map. About 10 years before the events of House of the Dragon Season 1, the Triarchy got together to overthrow the city of Volantis. When they were finished, they used Kragas Drahar to defeat the Stepstones. The issue arose when Drahar decided to become a pirate rather than continue to combat the pirates that troubled the shipping path. He started boarding ships, many of which were Corlys Velaryon's property, robbing them of their cargo and feeding the crew to the tides and crabs. Given that Kragas Crab Feeder has the resources of the Triarchy at his disposal, Viserys is reluctant to engage in combat. War with a strong alliance of three affluent city-states is very different from war with a random pirate. However, Prince Daemon and the Sea Snake wish to attempt to defeat Kragas. However, it's possible that Kragas Crab Feeder is already being defeated from within by something. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and smash that notification bell for more episodes.